So hello guys, welcome back to my channel once again. Friends, today we are talking about due date for the income tax return filing for the assessment year 25-26, which means financial year 24-25. So इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि 1 अप्रैल 2024 से लेके 31 मार्च 2025 के बीच की जो आपकी अर्निंग है उसके ऊपर में आपको रिटर्न फाइल करना पड़ेगा. So you can start filing your return from the 1st of the April 2025 and deadline for the salary taxpayer is 31st of July 2025. So we will talk about more in detail in the coming slides. So what are the options available for the return filing? So we have both the options available, online tax filing and offline tax filing. So online you can log in into income tax portal and various other private softwares are also there, and offline mode you can manually file your return and submit the form to the CPC Bangalore income tax office. So it is everyone's responsibility to file their return on time, every taxpayer basically, because if you delay in filing the return, it may attract interest and penalties and various other repercussions as well, like getting issues in visa for the mainly UK and US countries, and various other problems may arise. So it is advisable always to file your return within due date. Let's talk about income tax slab under the new tax regime. So recently, couple of years back, if you are aware, so government has brought into new tax regime and old tax regime. Though there is an option to file your return under any of the regime which may you may choose so. So the tax rate, if you see under 3 lakhs, there is no tax. 3 to 7 lakhs 5%, and 7 to 10 lakhs 10%, and so on. If you see, the highest slab is coming after the income of 15 lakhs. So below that it's up to 20%. But one thing to note here is that under new tax regime you do not get deductions and exemptions as you get in the old tax regime. So talking about in detail what are the benefits under the new tax regime. So there are few additional benefits which government has given under the new tax regime. So for the salaried employee, there is a standard deduction of 75,000 is given under the new tax regime if you are filing your return. So this same amount is not given under old tax regime. Under old tax regime, it is 50,000. So 25,000 extra is given under the new tax regime. So family pension, if someone is receiving family pension, so there was a deduction of 15,000 available, which is increased to 25,000. So suppose if you are receiving family pension of 50,000 in a year, you can claim a deduction of 25,000 if you are filing your return under the new tax regime. NPS contribution, employer's contribution is increased to 14% from the current financial year. This is not there in the old tax regime. Due to the above changes, so these two three changes, a taxpayer can save up to 17,500 in taxes if he or she choose to file the income tax return under the new tax regime. Okay, so if someone wants to switch between the old tax regime and new tax regime, so though an individual can choose easily if he or she doesn't have a business income every year. But if someone has filed with business income under the new tax regime and if he or she wants to move to old tax regime, they can do so by filing a form 10 IEA. So this is the form number, you may note that. So 10 IEA, if you can file, it is approved by the department, then you can switch over to the another tax regime. So one point here to note is that the highest surcharge rate is 25% in the new tax regime as compared to 37% in the old tax regime. So this is basically applicable for the higher income group people. Moving to next, so let's talk about the tax slab under the old tax regime. So first column is for the taxpayer below 60 years of age and individual and HUF. Second column is up 60 to 80 years and then 80 years plus taxpayer. So if you could see under 2.5 lakhs, there is no tax for the all the age groups. 2.5 to 3 lakhs, below 60 age group has to pay 5% and 60 and 80 doesn't have to pay any tax. 3 lakhs to 5 lakhs again below 60, and 60 to 80 are paying 5%, and 80 plus taxpayers doesn't have to pay any tax. Then 5 to 10 and 10 and above, it is same for all age group. 5 to 10 lakhs, it is 20%, and 10 lakhs and above is 30%. If you remember in the previous slide, this 30% tax slab was starting from the 15 lakhs income. But in old tax regime, it is starting from the 10 lakh income. But one thing to note here is that here we are claiming deduction and exemptions under ATC, ATD, and house rent allowance, LTA, leave travel allowance, and various other deductions and exemptions. Those are not there. So this is the difference. So let's talk about the ITRs. Which ITR you will choose? So there are different ITRs given by the income tax department based on the income, income level, source of income, etc. So easiest one is ITR 1, which is also called Sahaj form. So ITR 1 is applicable for the individual who is resident and earning below 50 lakhs and have one house property. So anybody having 50 lakhs and less income, one house property, and doesn't have a capital gain or business income, they will file ITR 1. So salary and pension, it's all included here. Any interest from FD or savings, this is all included in ITR 1. ITR 2 is required for the people who has business income or any foreign assets and who owns more than one house property, 2, 3, and have capital gain. Capital gains means income from shares, mutual funds, etc., and have agricultural income exceeding rupees 5,000 rupees. So if you fall into any of these options, you need to file ITR 2. And if you are NRI, non-resident individual, then even if you have only salary income, you have to file ITR 2. You are not allowed to file ITR 1 even with only salary income. Let's move to ITR 3. This is basically for the individuals who has a proprietary business or some profession like doctors, lawyers, or individuals working in a proprietorship as a proprietorship company. So they need to file ITR 3. ITR 3 is bit elaborative. It needs all your assets, liabilities, profit and loss statement, everything. So this is ITR 2 is also a little bit elaborative, and 3 is much more. So ITR 4, it is called Sugam form by the department. So this is applicable for individual or HUF and firms which are opting for the presumptive taxation and total income not exceeding 50 lakhs and doesn't have a foreign assets. So what is the presumptive income meaning? Presumptive income means you are paying tax at a fixed presumptive tax rate. So suppose this is basically applicable for the fleet running companies who have trucks and all these things, and anybody who has some small scale business who are limited turnover. So in that case, it will be assumed their turnover, a certain percentage will be assumed as their profit. Let's say 5% and 8% is the rate. It depends upon the nature of the business. Then on that presumptive profit, a tax rate will be will be paid. So that is what presumptive taxation is there. So this all income tax forms are basically for the individuals and HUFs and for the small scale businesses. So we will talk about big companies and partnership forms in the coming slides. Let's come to the due dates, which is very important here. So after you have selected the appropriate form which is applicable for you, so you have to file your return within deadline. So any individual HUF or any entity which does not require statutory audit means signing and signature and stamping by a practicing chartered accountant, due date is 31st of July. Individual and business who requires audit, they must file their return by 15th of October, and companies who does transfer pricing reportings, this is basically big companies who does that, they need to file their return by 30th of November. Now coming to the point how you will file your return. You have chosen your income tax return form, and you have chosen your due date. You have gathered all the documents what you need like form 16, all the interest statement, etc. So Online option we will discuss here. Taxpayer must first log in using their PAN and Aadhaar and password. So this we are talking about the income tax portal. If you go to e-filing Income Tax India, so you can log in giving your PAN number or Aadhaar and password. After that, you go to e-file. There is an option called e-file. If you put your cursor there, you will get file income tax return, and from there you can choose your what the return you are going to file. So after selecting the appropriate assessment year, like in this case we are selecting 25, 26, and ITR form, ITR 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever is applicable to you. So and updating all the details, exemption, deductions, if you have chosen old tax regime, else this is not applicable. So one basic report like your personal informations and basic information which income tax already has, like your salary information, your interest from bank, etc., will be automatically populated. And it also may include HRA which you have claimed from your employer and your employer has reported to the income tax department. Those things will be automatically populated in your income tax return. You have to just review them, and if there is any update or amendment you have to do, you do that based on the documents you have. So you can file your return, update all the details. So one thing is very important to note here is that your return, what you are filing, must match your 26 AS and annual information statement. So these documents also you can download from your income tax portal. Once you log in, there is an option you can download that and review your data what you have updated in the income tax form with the data which AIS and 26 AS has. So this is one very important and critical point to note before submitting, because a lot of people get noticed because their income tax return does not match their AIS or income tax return does not match 26 AS. So this is very important. So ITR for entities. So we will not go in detail for entities, but business and other entities like partnership firms, LLPs, EOPs, and other bodies. So excluding companies, they need to file ITR 5 and 6. Public limited companies need to file ITR 7 and 8. That is different thing. We are not talking about them here. So I hope you find this video useful. So the income tax filing date is approaching. So if you need any help in return filing, you may contact me, and share this video with your friends, family, so that they can also get the benefit out of it. And try filing by yourself. If you're stuck somewhere, it's better to take a professional help. Thank you for listening.